The Trump administration's blatant disregard for justice reached a new low on Monday, as it doubled down on its defiance of a unanimous Supreme Court order, further twisting the facts surrounding the wrongful deportation of Kilmar Abrego Garcia to El Salvador. This escalation of defiance showcases a disturbing pattern of disregard for both judicial authority and basic human rights. The Supreme Court's unequivocal ruling last week demanded the administration facilitate Abrego Garcia's return to the United States. This directive was not a suggestion, a recommendation, or an opinion. It was a binding order from the highest court in the land. The order explicitly stated that Abrego Garcia's deportation was unlawful, regardless of any alleged association with the MS-13 gang, a fact seemingly lost on the administration. The administration's latest attempts to justify their actions are not merely misleading. They're demonstrably false. They paint a picture that conveniently omits crucial details, selectively highlighting aspects that serve their narrative while conveniently ignoring those that expose their wrongdoing. This blatant disregard for truth is deeply troubling and erodes public trust in the very institutions meant to uphold justice. The original case unfolded before a U.S. immigration judge, who, despite raising concerns about Abrego Garcia's potential links to MS-13, recognized the significant risk of persecution he faced in El Salvador. This judge, acting within the established legal framework, rightly ordered against deportation to El Salvador, effectively granting Abrego Garcia a form of protection. Crucially, the Trump administration chose not to appeal this decision, silently accepting the judge's assessment of the dangers Abrego Garcia would face. Now, the administration attempts to rewrite history, labeling his deportation an administrative error. This is not merely a semantic quibble. It's a blatant attempt to obfuscate the truth and evade responsibility for their actions. The Supreme Court explicitly declared the deportation illegal. Calling it an administrative error is an insult to the court's authority and a cynical attempt to minimize the severity of their violation. The Supreme Court's unanimous decision was not a technicality. It was a clear and decisive condemnation of the administration's actions. It recognized the inherent injustice of deporting Abrego Garcia to a country where his life would be in grave danger. The administration's subsequent attempts to downplay the severity of their actions, to reinterpret the court's order, and to recast their illegal actions as a simple mistake are not only unacceptable, but represent a profound erosion of the rule of law. This case highlights a broader pattern of disregard for due process and human rights under the Trump administration. The administration's relentless pursuit of harsh immigration policies, often at the expense of individual rights and fairness, has consistently been met with criticism from human rights organizations and legal experts. The Abrego Garcia case serves as a stark example of these failures, showcasing the administration's willingness to ignore judicial orders and to prioritize its own agenda over the fundamental rights of individuals. The administration's continued defiance in the face of a unanimous Supreme Court order is a deeply troubling development. It raises serious questions about the administration's commitment to the rule of law and underscores the urgent need for accountability. The international community must take note of this blatant disregard for human rights and the erosion of the judicial system's integrity. The fight for Abrego Garcia's release is not just a fight for his freedom. It's a fight for the very principles of justice and the rule of law upon which our society is founded. The administration's actions demand a strong response, one that ensures accountability and prevents similar injustices from occurring in the future. The continued silence in the face of this blatant disregard for justice is deafening and unacceptable. The pursuit of justice must continue until Abrego Garcia is safely returned.